I'm Matt from Big Little Robot, and this is an unboxing / review of the Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Jaguar. So just a quick look at the box. Nothing really stands out, no art or design, very plain and craft colored. It would have been nice to see a sleeve on this, but the details get the point across of the contents inside. Not much on the sides other than the model type. On this side we have a recommended age group of age 15 and up, and over here a warning not to feed the small parts to your kids. But that's really it. Let's get this open. I'll just take out my trusty blade to cut the tape, and warning to kids, do not handle blades yourself. Please get assistance from your parents. So when opening the box, it's nice to know that the figure is secure between two pieces of styrofoam. That's certainly a nice way to preserve your figure. And it seems there is tape wrapped around the entire seam of the styrofoam. So no matter. Just take out my trusty blade again. And kids, don't attempt to do this on your own. I'm a professional. Let's just remove the top of this and see what we have inside. Nicely packed and a perfect fit. We've got a nice cassette tape case here, and along with a word of caution as to not break your figure, basically telling you to slide out the leg and not pull the leg apart. Here's a close-up if you'd like to pause and read it. Let's just put all of the excess off to the side. And we have a beautiful case. We've got an indication that the figure is somehow or partly die-cast. High fidelity, RMX01 Jaguar. Nice little reference on the side. For its size, it certainly has quite a bit of heft to it. And we get something that looks, or something that's supposed to look like a cassette tape, but barely resembles a cassette tape at all. Which I'm guessing is most likely for the sake of appearance in its robot mode. But regardless, definitely a nice compact design. However, the only part that truly looks like a cassette are the spool pegs, but certainly a nice glossy finish and die cast, which seems to be in the legs of the figure. Take the slip cover out, and there's a description about Jaguar. If you would like to read it, I'll give you a second to pause the video. And opening the insert, we have instructions and a bio card. I'll let you guys look at that too. And coming back to the insert, we've got some promo info over here, and powered by Mastermind Creations over here. And aside from art and photos, not much else except for the transformation instructions. So back to the figure. If you're wondering about scale and size comparison, I have a Hasbro Masterpiece Ravage right here, and he's about 1/4 the size of the Ocular Max figure. In comparison, Masterpiece Ravage looks more like a mini cassette compared to this Jaguar figure. So I'm going to attempt to transform him on my first try and hopefully not break anything. So here we go. The first step you want to do is flip the head out, and then you have these two flaps that are slightly locked in by tabs. You'll want to pull them down to cover the reels. Then flip it to the other side and do the same thing to the similar flaps. And I'm going to start loosening up parts of this to try to make the transformation easier. Now these two parts, according to the instructions, should be slid outward and not pulled down. Flip the tail out. Loosen up the other parts of the figure, come back to the head and extend forward a little. Loosen these up some more to fold them down somehow without breaking it. And somehow the neck doesn't look right, which I'll fix in a minute. But first, fold down the legs. I'm trying to figure out how the neck goes. It looks like these two parts should form the jugular, so I'll fold these down. These back legs have proven to be quite a challenge. I can see the crevice where the ball peg should be sliding into. Maybe if I move the wingtips out of the way of the missiles, I can get a better view. Alright, I have no idea how I figured that out. But apparently I have to do the same to the other side. These back legs seem to be a bit tricky. I really hope I do this without popping out a joint. But I think I've figured it out. Okay, just pop that back on. I will flip out the leg and the foot. Oh, darn it. So that's back on. Just need to make sure everything is alright and aligned properly. Come back to the front legs here and fold down the left leg and struggle with the right leg. Then flip this double ball joint outward and do the same to the other side, which I think I was supposed to do a while ago. Expand the midsection and voila! And I have got to say, this is an excellent representation of Ravage out of scale. But I guess if you think about it, Soundwave would fire off laser beak from his chest, and if you wanted to get technical, he was probably the biggest cassette tape anyone had ever seen. So physics are pretty much non-existent in the G1 Tune universe. Here we are with a Hasbro version of Ravage again, and kind of makes the Masterpiece Ravage look like a Tootsie Roll with legs. But here they are, side by side. Straighten out his little missiles over here. Give you somewhat of a profile shot. A rear shot for those of you into zoophilia erotica. And back to the beginning. I gotta say though, this little Ravage figure is certainly a lot lighter than I remember. But the Mastermind Jaguar really has a nice heft to it. I am certainly loving the die cast in the legs. The weight gives it a stability and makes posing manageable. A little die cast in the midsection too. We've got a really nice glimmer in the reflective red eye. This figure is just astounding. You can open the mouth, but it seems a bit loose. I'm not sure if it'll droop at some time in the near future, so I probably wouldn't mess around with it too much. I'm really liking the details and the shape around the shoulders. Kind of gives it a little more brawn. I am surprised by the fact that the figure does have a solid feel to it. But this little guy is still an all-time favorite of mine. The details are pretty solid for this little one, and certainly fun to transform. Definitely worth picking up if you haven't already owned one. And here are the bots side by side with Soundwave. While it's difficult to argue scale in this scenario, what I like about it is the balance of the figure alone. There's a really great matchup between Soundwave and the Ocular Max Jaguar in regarding to size. So just in regards to just balance by itself between the two figures, I definitely like Ocular Max because of that. And here's Masterpiece Frenzy for another taste of scaling your figures. And while probably not the best figure for scale, I have Spike here just for those of you that need any kind of further details. Definitely a tiny little figure, this guy, but I'm hoping to pick up the Doctor Who version of Carly, or I don't know, maybe it's Michael Jackson. If you haven't seen the box art, it kind of creeps me out. But I'm definitely looking for a more detailed human figures for scale. I've even considered those little train set figures too, but if anybody has recommendations, I'd love to see them in the comments down below. So that's pretty much it. The Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Jaguar is an excellent side piece. Regardless of scale, it definitely brings balance to the figures. This is certainly a great novelty size figure to have for that cassette tape transforming figure. I totally recommend picking one up. While there's nothing wrong with the Masterpiece figures, everyone has their preferences besides from that hip detachment. This figure is easily like 4.5 out of 5 stars. But that covers the Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Jaguar review. Please hit that logo at the bottom right hand corner to subscribe. This has been Matt from Big Little Robot. Keep on collecting, and I will see you next time.